Hello and welcome to Katrinas Creations. This is episode 429 and I will be talking about the wedding a little later on in the video because several of you have emailed me and asked me how it went or messaged me, things like that. So I will be talking about that in a few minutes. But let's get started first with what I have for finished objects because it's been 2 weeks since the podcast for Saturdays, and so I've got a few things that I've gotten done. So the first two are hamsters or guinea pigs. They could be either. I made these a little on the larger side because this particular yarn was one of the yarns that I bought at the thrift sale, and it is a heavier yarn than the Dollar Tree yarn I've been using. So I couldn't make a smaller hamster with it. I tried and it just wasn't working because the yarn is probably like a 6 weight or more. It's definitely a bulky weight yarn. So, and I'm saying that they are hamster or guinea pig because at my last craft fair that I went to, this man came over and he saw I had a hamster and he said, "Do you have any guinea pigs?" And I actually held up a sheep and I said, "This could be a guinea pig. For $5, it can be whatever you would like it to be." So yeah, so we have 2 hamsters, and these are selling for more than $5. But anyway, the one that was in question was a little bit smaller little critter. So here we go, 2 hamsters or guinea pigs. Then we have some definite hamsters. These are much softer. This is the yarn that I also bought at the thrift store, but it feels and looks just like the Premier chenille yarn that I get from the Dollar Tree. So I have 5 little hamsters. And hamsters seem to sell well. I usually always sell out of them. So I have a herd of hamsters. Then I have a whole bunch of hexies for the new blanket that's coming along. I have in this color, and I'll hold this up so you can see it. This is actually Malabrigo lace. It is a lace weight yarn, but I held it double. And I've had this in my stash for quite a few years. I have no idea where I got it from, but I liked the colors, but it was too thin. I used to do a lot of knitting with lace weight yarns. And as I've gotten older and the eyes have gotten, you know, the bifocals have gotten stronger and everything, I don't knit with lace weight yarn anymore. So I did want to use it, so I just held it double. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I still have almost a half a skein of yarn left. So they are all different variations of this. But I actually really like these because it's got some purples and some green and like a denim blue in it. So there's that. Then I'll show you the sweater that I've been knitting, but I used up some of the colors that I'm finished with for the sweater. At this point for my sweater, I am just strictly onto the blue color. So I'm finished with the pink and the white and the hedgehog fibers, but I wanted to make sure I used it all. I have lots of minis in these colors. So I have one in just pink, and then I have several. Let me pull them all out here. How many total solid pink do I have? Okay, so I have 3 in the solid pink. I have 5 in the solid white. Now the pink and the white for the sweater, these were Brooklyn tweed. And I don't remember the colors, but they're pink and white. And then I had the hedgehog fiber, which was the color Ozone. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I started mixing and matching colors because I wanted to use everything up. So I mixed the pinks and the whites and the blue, or the pinks and the whites and the multicolored together in order to use up all of the yarn, because I didn't want, at the price of the yarn, I think this one's my favorite, but at the price of the yarn, I didn't want any of it going to waste. So, and then lastly, I have two mini or hexies in this green color. There you go. And this color was a Knit Crate sock yarn. It was called Artistic U yarn. It was in their sock box, and the color was celery stalk. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. But at some point, I mean, Knit Crate had sent me one skein, and at some point I acquired a second skein of it. However, they were two different dye lots. Even though they're the same color name, they were vastly different. One was more green, like this one, and one was more of a yellow undertones. I mean, they did not go together at all. So I think I sold that other one. I haven't run across it. So I think that one was sold, and this was one that was left. So I'm working my way through that skein of yarn as well. So those are my finished objects. Let me move on to my one work in progress at this point. Now this is the Tessitura sweater. It is an Expression Fiber Arts. The designer is Debbie Mage. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It is a beautiful sweater, and I've got fuzz on it. So here it is. Let me show you this side. That is the top, and then it works down. I finished the bottom. It does need to be blocked, so it is curling a little bit at the bottom, but this is where I was at when you saw it 2 weeks ago, was right here, and I have gone down and finished it. So it's about 3.5 to 4 inches here, and then I started on the sleeves, and I am almost done the sleeves. I'm doing them 2 at a time because who wants one sleeve longer than the other? So here are my sleeves. They go from here to here, and this is what I was meaning. I'm all on the blue section because I am matching this so that the sleeves match the body. So I have about another 2 inches to go before I start the ribbing on the sweater. So I'm hoping next week this will be done. That's the goal, but we'll see how that works out. But that is what I'm planning on getting done. So that's what I've been working on the last 2 weeks. What have you been working on? to say thank you to those of you who contribute to Show and Tell. We all enjoy seeing each other's projects. If you would like to share your project with us, it does not need to be something that you have just completed. It could be something that you finished years ago or whatever. If it's something that you would like to share with us, we would like to see it. So if you would like to submit anything for Show and Tell, you can do so over on my Facebook page, which is Katrina Knits, or you can send me an email at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com. Tell me a little bit about the project, if it has a pattern name, anything like that, or what kind of yarn, whatever you want to tell me about it. And then it will be in the Show and Tell. So we welcome all entries, because we like to check out what y'all are making. So upcoming videos. If you missed yesterday's video, you can click the link right here. That was a tutorial for making a crocheted ear warmer. If you're a new crocheter, it's an ideal project for you. It's all single crochet in the back loop, but you come up with something that looks really neat when you're finished. So if you want to check that out, you can. And this Friday's video, I'm not sure what it's going to be about. If you have ideas, please leave them down in the comments below. Yeah, and also let me know what you think about this. I had thought about maybe doing a video about having a YouTube channel, because I know some of you do have YouTube channels. Some of you are maybe thinking of having a YouTube channel. If you want to know kind of the ins and outs about it, how much time it takes, roughly what you make money-wise, you know, different tips and tricks that I've run across. If you're interested in something like that, let me know down below. Or if you have some other suggestions for videos for Fridays, I really appreciate it. So now I will go on and tell you a little bit about the wedding. So I do not have pictures. Well, I do have pictures, but I haven't asked permission yet to post the pictures because they're still on their honeymoon. So yeah. They went to Japan, of all places. Yes, so exciting. So I'm looking forward to hearing about Japan. My dad went there years ago on a business trip and absolutely loved it, said it was gorgeous. So I look forward to seeing their pictures and hearing all about it. Apparently they've been sending pictures to my daughter and son-in-law saying, look at the view, look at this, look at that. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. But as for the wedding itself, it was very, very nice, very God-centered. All of my grandchildren participated in some way, shape, or form in it. My son's kids were helping with passing out the bulletins and with getting the guest book signed. They had a Bible next to the guest book where people could highlight favorite Bible verses for them. The ceremony itself was funny because the groomsmen and the groom came out, and the two best men. Yes, there was 6 wedding attendants for each of them, and they each had 2. Well, my granddaughter had 2 maid of honors, and my grandson-in-law had 2 best men. So as he walked out just before the bride came down, both of the best men straightened his tie, and the other one ran a lint brush all over his suit. So everybody cracked up laughing when they saw that. They were getting him presentable. And then the bridesmaids came down and everything was fine. And then the ring bearers came. We had 4 ring bearers. Those were the 4 youngest brothers of my granddaughter. My daughter has 7 children. My son has 4 children. So like I said, all 4 of my son's kids were helping kind of behind the scenes at the wedding. And my granddaughter is the oldest of the 7, and then she has 6 younger brothers. So the 4 youngest brothers were the ring bearers, and down the aisle they came with a little silver suitcase, like they were holding the ring inside the suitcase. And it was funny because my youngest grandson at one point leaned over to me after the wedding and said, "Grandma, the ring really wasn't in there." And I said, "I kind of figured that out." But anyway, it was cute because they were escorting like security down the aisle with this little safe with the ring inside. And then came the flower girls and flower guy. Yes, we had 2 flower girls, and my second oldest grandson, who is 19, was a flower guy, complete with pink fanny pack. because one of the flower girls was 2 years old. They weren't sure how she was going to do going down the aisle, and the other one was maybe 3 or 4. So the little 2-year-old absolutely adores my grandson. So he actually went down the aisle to kind of help her down the aisle and help her throw the petals out. And she did a good job, other than she went down on her knees at one point, and he had to kind of scoop her up and move her along a little bit more. So yeah, so he was the flower guy. So yeah, it was cute, and he was willing to do that, so it worked out very well. So we had that, and the wedding went off very, very nice. It was very good. Then the reception was over at my son-in-law's parents. So the other grandparents had it at their house because they have a bunch of land, and so we had a tent. And the weather held out, which was great, because we were so afraid it was going to rain and we were going to turn the tent into a giant slip and slide. But it did not rain the whole time. It was cloudy, but it didn't rain. The weather was good. It was warm enough. The food was great. Everything worked out. I did have to laugh at one point. Well, I laughed and then I cried, because it was the daddy-daughter dance. And there's my granddaughter dancing with her daddy. And I look over at my daughter, and she has finally lost it emotionally. She's in tears over there. And I was doing okay until I look over, and the oldest of the boys, who is 20, he saw his mom crying, and he went over and sat down next to her and put his arm around her. And that's when I lost it. So anyway, but overall, it was a wonderful wedding, and they will be a good husband and wife to each other. So yeah, it was enjoyable, and so they're on their honeymoon, and I'm looking forward to finding out what they did while they were over there. So I do know they were going to a Japanese tea ceremony, which sounded like it'd be fun to watch, because you know me and tea. So that's the update on the wedding. So what am I reading? Currently, nothing. Actually, just before the wedding, like a day or two before it, I finished the book I was reading, which was by Peggy Earhart, and that was Last Wool and Testament. And it was really good. It had a twist at the end that I did not expect. The person who was the murderer was not the person I was expecting it to be. So that's the kind of book I like, where I'm surprised at the end. But that's one of my favorite series. Peggy Earhart writes. It's called the Knit and Nibble mystery series. And so this was a book on, it was an online book or audio book, so I was able to listen to it and knit and crochet at the same time, which is what I really like doing. So I have downloaded a couple Jessica Beck books right now. They're actually ebooks, so I have to like read them while I'm trying to knit and crochet. But those are part of the Donut Shop mystery series. So there's donut recipes in it, and there's like probably 50 books in the series, something like that. So yeah, I'm waiting for the next knit or crochet book to come out, and it hasn't yet. I have my eye on my absolute favorite author is Betty Hechtman, and she writes the crochet mysteries, which are my favorites. There's crochet mysteries, yarn to go, and then she recently started another series which was knit and crochet related as well. Her new book just came out April 8th, and I've been watching for it, and I can't find it anywhere so far. I can find it on Amazon, but I'm talking about finding it free because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay money for a book that once I read it, I'm not going to read it again. So yeah, it's over on Amazon, but I'm looking for it in my local library, and I haven't found it so far. But I'll be keeping my eye out for that one. So, and that one is Murder by the Hook. That's the one I'm looking for. So yeah, when I find it, I'll be reading that. So now it's time for, now in our Come and Get It section, we have Lion Brand is offering currently 30% off all orders that are $50 or more. Now that sale runs until June 4th. So after that, June 4th and 5th, there is a one-day flash sale coming up. I will put out a video for that when it comes out, But what the sale is going to be is buy one skein, get a second skein for half price. But it's only on select yarns, and I don't know what the select yarns are yet. I know what the sale is, but I don't know what the select yarns are. So I will put a video out when that sale comes out. When I say video, I'm talking sales videos, so they're yellow with black writing. That's a yarn sale. When I find out what the select yarns are, I will pass that on to you. But that's coming up on the 4th until the 5th. But the current sale that they have is 30% off all orders of $50 or more. The links to all these sales are down below in the description box. Just click on the bold word more. It will open up and they are all alphabetical from there. I really do appreciate if you buy through my links down below, because I do get a commission for those, which actually helps to support the channel. So, because YouTube doesn't pay much. So anyway, yeah, it just helps supplement the channel a little bit, helps to pay for shipping, for giveaways, things like that. So anyway, that is Lion Brand sale. Then we have Lovecrafts. Lovecrafts is having 40% off of fan favorite yarns. So I went over to look to see what the fan favorites are, and they're actually nice ones. There's some paint box yarns, Debbie Bliss, I saw some Cascade 220, and they also had some Rowan yarns, and I didn't look beyond that, but I saw those. So it is 40% off of fan favorite yarns. I'm not sure how long that sale runs. I couldn't find an expiration date. Knit Picks is winding up the month. By the time you're watching this, it will be the last day of the month, where Aloft is their 20% off yarn for the month. I don't know what June's yarn of the month is going to be yet. Currently, they do have their Brava yarns, which is a premium anti-pilling acrylic. They have those on sale between $3.99 and $4.99, because the solid ones are cheaper than like the speckled or the tweed, and the different yarn weights of it. That's where the price variance is. So Brava yarns are on sale. Well, not really on sale. I don't know that they're really on sale. I keep thinking I've paid more than this for them. But anyway, Brava yarns are running between $3.99 and $4.99 over at Knit Picks. Mary Maxim is having a clearance sale, so I went over to look to see what the clearance sale is on. They had a lot of yarns. These are just a few examples. They had Peaches and Cream stripy yarn, which is 100% cotton worsted, like for your dishcloths, things like that, for $1.99, which is a really good price. So that is the Peaches and Cream or Creme. They also had some Bernat yarns. I saw some Bernat blanket yarn on sale. And they had some other versions of Bernat that were on sale. They also had Vanna's Choice Bonus Bundle, which is the bigger skein of yarn. They had for $4.99, which is a pretty good price there. And then lastly, we have Jimmy Bean's Wools, and they are 25% off of hedgehog fibers currently. So that is all for today, and I will see you again on Friday. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe and like button. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.